Is it possible to have a spy-proof device of any kind?
No, so you can't really say anything is spy-proof, but what you can do is do your best to build in security features and build security in from the start so that it's as spy-proof as possible, so, more secure than other devices.
Interesting stuff. So, Christoph, do you guys maintain that this product is, in fact, spy-proof? Or in what way is it more secure, and how can you measure such a thing?
Well, in fact, we do, and it's of course hard to prove security, right? Because, particular when the goal is, if you want to get security in people's hands so that they really use security, it has to be as invisible as possible. So from that angle, it's always hard to prove. But we have certifications. We're undergoing evaluations, for instance, by the German Office for Federal Information Security, and achieving those securities, targeting at something like NATO restricted grade, gives us great confidence that it's as spy-proof as possible.
So what are the keys? I mean, we keep hearing about multi-factor identification. We talk about sort of what happens in the back end with the network in terms of sort of hiding the identity of the device. What's the sort of the secret, if you will, Christoph, of how Secusmart works?
Yeah, one of the secrets, of course, we're not relying on the security of the device. We're relying on the security of an external hardware token, which is a smart card chip. So all the secrets, long-term secrets like private keys, are embedded in that card, and they never leave the card. They're not exposed to the device at all. And we use that particular chip, which is then inside of a micro SD card. So we can access that from the application to secure things like, and authenticate things like VPN, data at rest encryption, and so forth.
So tell me about this chip, and specifically, Christoph, what is it about this chip that is able to do sort of, what is it doing, like real-time calculations and creating new personal identification keys all the time?
Yes, absolutely. That's what this chip does. So you can imagine that chip like if the smart card chips you're seeing on credit cards or you are seen on SIM cards of your mobile phone, but much more secure than those. And so they are practically tamper-proof and non-hackable, and they act like as a mini crypto computer, which do all these crypto computations in real time as you need it.
Interesting. Rohit, we've seen this approach before, but typically a personal identification key is written once and it sticks with the device forever.
Right.
Is this, Rohit, a different approach?
Well, it's a different approach. In fact,
I think...
Actually, go ahead, Rohit.
Different approach.
Sorry, yeah. So I think there is something different about this. And as he mentioned, it's, where it's being stored on the device and the fact that there is some physical separation does make a difference in terms of how exploitable it is. So there is a difference there than kind of your standard device.
I also wonder, Rohit, if the market share or lack thereof for BlackBerry by and of itself sort of makes the device more secure, because why would hackers put a lot of time into going after something that has less than 0.5% market share?
Yeah, that's actually a very valid point. So what we see is when you hear about public disclosures of security issues, they're typically done by security researchers. And security researchers are basically either volunteering their time or are paid to somehow find security issues in hardware or software. And what they'll do is they'll typically spend their time focused on things that do have a lot of market share. So, from a mobile apps perspective, they'd be spending a lot of time on iOS and your sort of Android devices. So it's hard to say without the same amount of scrutiny, what level of security another platform would have.
Well, maybe to add on this, our products are typically in the hand of leaders of states, of prime ministers, chancellors, presidents, and these maybe the market is a niche, but these individuals are highly important individuals, and we're trying and seeking to protect their information the best possible.
Although, Christoph, we've seen, the NSA infamously, we found out thanks to Edward Snowden, hacked into Angela Merkel's phone and was able to understand her, at least the metadata from her phone calls. Is that your first sales call, to call up Angela Merkel and say, you got to have this new tablet?
She indeed has one of our products exactly to counterfeit that. She has a secure BlackBerry. Secure by Secusmart.
Christoph, it's curious to me that number one, that your software is developed in Germany, and number two, that BlackBerry, which has this reputation for security going back a decade, had to acquire your company to get your software. What is it about your development of software there in Germany that was even better than anything BlackBerry could concoct up in Waterloo, Canada?
Yeah, so the reputation from my company is particularly based on encrypting voice, and BlackBerry is very famous for encrypting data. Yeah, so BlackBerry has a huge pedigree in securing mobile email, and so this is why it fits together perfectly, because our heritage is from securing voice. So together we have the full package of securing the mobile data and securing the mobile voice. Plus, of course, Secusmart is in a niche market, and while BlackBerry is still addressing like larger enterprise corporations.
And finally, Christoph, when you look back at what has happened with the Playbook, what makes this so much better? I know you guys say you're going to ship 10,000. How many do you think you're going to sell? And was the Playbook flawed from a security perspective?
No, I don't think so. And I think this is a project, of course, which Secusmart has already brought into this marriage. So we had this cooperation with Samsung and other partners to make this secure tablet for government customers long before we got acquired by BlackBerry. Now, the interesting part is that also with the partnership we're recently seeing between BlackBerry and Samsung, this all seems to fit very well into the overall strategy that BlackBerry has. Moving to services, maintaining our own BlackBerry hardware for very high secure applications, but also offering our services on other vendors' platforms. And I think that's the key here. So we're not trying to argue with who's making the best tablet. We're just trying to offer our service on whatever tablet you want to.